Hey everyone, it's me, Julian Greystoke. I'm wearing my salt shirt because today we're going to talk about critique, especially about taking critique, but we can also talk a little bit about giving critique as well. I've been looking at some of my older videos, thinking about redoing them, modernizing them, putting them on a better camera. And one of the videos I did a while back, which you can still go watch, I don't ever delete anything off this channel really, was how theater taught me how to take critique. So I figured I would kind of reiterate that and also talk about things that I have maybe learned as well along the way since I did that video, because I've had a lot of things critiqued. I've had many beta rounds in between, so I have always been learning and growing and figuring out the sort of culture of critiquing and being critiqued. Because there is a culture, there are not really rules, but sort of politeness, I guess you could say. Some things are just kind of considered rude or poor form to do when you're taking or giving critique.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
Before we get started though, if you're interested in reading my book, it is called The Wolf and the Hawk, and it is available now on Amazon in either paperback, Kindle, or audiobook, so you have options. Whenever you've written something, if you intend to, say, publish it or put it out there in the world for public consumption, you either have to seek critique or at least be willing to take critique. If you're really looking to publish your book, you must seek it. You must get other people to look at it and tell you what problems it has, because quite frankly, all of us authors are too close to the project to often be able to tell what it really needs. You need a fresh sets of eyes on it, as many sets of eyes as you can get. But of course, that means that they are going to come back with their opinions, and some of those opinions may be negative, and that is sort of absolutely horrifying. It's a really good idea to try to kind of separate yourself from them in any way that you can, and mentally just be like, okay, I'm going to read this, but it's not an attack against me. It's just hopefully someone trying to help me with my writing. Now, there are a few times where the critique will be useless, such as somebody who is just attacking you, like you're a bad writer. Throw those critiques straight in the trash. That's not helpful. Anybody who tells you that you should stop writing or you're a terrible writer, right in the trash. The best critique is something that's going to give you constructive ideas about how to improve. But how did live theater prepare me to take critique? I have been a stage actor for probably close to 15 years. I've been doing it for a hot minute. We were actually preparing to do our next play when the fucking plague happened and we had to cancel it, which was really disappointing. The type of theater that I do is something we call organic theater. It's small, it's often black box, and we actors are given a lot of freedom. We're not blocked, we're not made to say lines in a certain way. We are very much encouraged to get into our character. So that's really kind of the way that I approach writing as well, getting into the character so deep that I know what they would do at any given time. But just because I know that, and I think I'm portraying it, doesn't mean that's actually what's coming through. After we do scenes at the theater, we all sit down and the director gives us notes, just like a critique for your writing. And the director may say, I don't know what you were doing in that scene. It didn't make sense, or I thought you were doing this and I didn't like it. And you can tell the director, well, I was trying for this. And the director will say, well, it wasn't coming through, here are some strategies to maybe help that come through. And that's really what critique should be. Somebody comes at you with something, they say, I didn't like the main character in this scene, and you say, oh, well, first of all, you don't have to say anything at all. That's the key. You do not have to say anything. I very rarely talk back to my betas. It's very easy to feel defensive. So easy to feel defensive and to be like, they just didn't get it. I better explain it to them. But if it's not in the book, same as if the director didn't see it in the scene, you don't get to come back and say, it's there, you just missed it. It's your job as the author to decide if you need to go back in and make that thing more clear or change that thing so it's doing what you want it to. Because odds are good, especially if multiple betas are saying, I didn't get this from a scene, it's not the betas, it's the book. And you need to figure out how to make it do the thing that you want it to do. So let's do an example. My beta readers come back and they say the beginning is not engaging. I'm not hooked by the beginning of your book. I could go, well, you just don't understand. It's supposed to be like that. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
It's not stupid. It's advanced.
You could do that, but that's not going to help you grow as a writer. That's not going to improve your story. If your beta readers have not really given you any information, you can come back at them and say, hey, I was trying to do this. Like, say, I was trying to show the main character going about her day before I get to the inciting incident. But how could I make that more interesting? And then beta readers can be like, I'd like to see this, this, and this. And you can kind of extrapolate from all of those ideas how you might improve your book. Just the same as when you're on the stage. So when you're taking critique, the main thing is to not knee-jerk and go, oh, you just don't understand, you read it wrong, you don't get it. And instead, look at what they said and go, how can I make it be so that you are getting what I want you to get from this story? And like I said, I rarely talk back to my betas because I just want to hear what they have to say, and the only thing I will often do is sometimes clarifying questions like, you said this, what does that mean? Or if they don't give me enough details, if they're like, I really didn't like this scene, I can go back and be like, what about it didn't you like? Can you be more specific? So you can ask for a beta to be more specific. You should not come back at them and tell them that they were wrong about the scene, even if they were. But the rest of your betas got it, so it's probably not a big problem. But it serves no one anything if you go back and tell that beta reader that they read it wrong and you're very angry and they're just stupid. It does not help. Even a beta who you maybe don't agree with 99% of the time, that 1% can still be some gems in there. Just take it on board, decide whether you want to use it or not, and then get rid of what you don't want to use. I know it is so much easier said than done. The other thing you shouldn't do, and I know this is really difficult, is you shouldn't hound people who have your book. Like, if you officially have beta readers, I warn my beta readers when I start, like, if I don't hear from you for a while, I will send you out a gentle reminder email. And a gentle reminder is all it's going to be. And I'll probably send maximum 2 of those. And if I still don't hear anything back, I'm gonna assume that that reader just didn't have the time, just wasn't interested, the book didn't resonate with them, and they were just too kind to tell me that they didn't like it. That's a thing that happens. That's just life. Also, oftentimes, many beta readers will say that they can beta for you, but then something will come up in their life. A family member will get sick. They'll get a new job. They'll go back to school and find out that it's more intense than they thought it was. You cannot give them a hard time if they're either slow getting back to you or don't get back to you. I always tell my betas, I'm going to be super understanding. Please just tell me if you have to stop. I will never ever be mad at you about it. I want you to keep reading, obviously, but if you have to stop or if you have to take a break, just tell me and I will completely understand. You're not paying these people. They're doing you a solid. So you have to be as kind to them as you can. Now, of course, if you are critiquing, what are some tips and tricks? What's good etiquette for those who are doing a critique? Doing your best to get the critique in by the deadline is important. If you've got somebody who's pretty relaxed like me, you can just send me a message to be like, I'm not gonna have it back to you by the deadline, and I'll be like, that's chill. I take so long to edit anyway. Just keep sending me stuff. I want it. But you do want to try to have it back if you can by the deadline. You also do want to communicate as best you can. Some people are going to ghost. That's just a fact. But if you are critiquing, it's better to communicate, hey, I had to stop reading this. Like, there's various reasons that you would stop, and you do want to communicate that. Or if you have to take a break or go more slowly. Critiques and what they look like, you definitely want to avoid sort of blanket statements like, this was bad. You want to be specific if you can. So something like, I didn't understand this scene, it seems kind of choppy, here are some places where it lost me. Or I didn't like this character because they took this action. Be as specific as you can to help out the author figure out what to do about it. Just saying I didn't like this doesn't give the author any help figuring out what they're supposed to do about the problem. Finally, something I just wanted to talk about on the very end of this video, because it's not something that's long enough to be its own video, it'd just be like a little thing, is I often worry, and this is mostly in my head because very few people have actually said this to me, Julian, you do videos where you tear apart people's writing. And it's true, I am fairly mean. I try to be specific, like I said, about the critique and be like, this is what I don't like and this is why. I'm not kind, I don't sugarcoat. So people might be saying, Julian, because you do that, then your book must be perfect, right? Because you cannot critique someone else's work unless you can do perfect work yourself. And then you might read my book and you might go, it's not perfect. The world building's a little bit shallow for me, or I didn't resonate with these characters, and therefore you might go, Julian, you don't have a leg to stand on. You didn't write a perfect book, and therefore you don't get to critique other people's writing. You're free to think that. That's valid. Go about your day and never watch me again. That's fine. No writer in the world is good at everything. Your favorite writer, that writer that you love, they have stuff that they don't do well. You just don't notice it because those aren't the things that are important to you in that story. Even the greats, like Stephen King. He doesn't always resonate with me, but I can tell, reading his writing, the man has got the juice. Even as I'm sitting there going, Stephen, this is too many words. Please stop. I'm still going, but damn, does he know how to arrange them. How do you do it? You fucking monster, you know? But even he isn't perfect. He struggles with endings. If I waited until I was perfect to talk about other people's flaws in their writing, I would never get to do that because I will never be perfect. So if you're going to look at my book and you're going to be like, this had better be perfect because she critiques other people's books, you're going to be disappointed. But yeah, this is just to say that just because I critique doesn't mean I think I'm perfect, and it doesn't mean I'll write a perfect book. But I enjoy critiquing, I enjoy taking things apart, I love learning from what I take apart and trying to take that on into my own writing, and I will forever be improving, just like every author out there who keeps going. So that was my very rambly, kind of random and all over the place video about taking and giving critique, with a bonus thingy on the end. Sometimes we're all very professional around here, but usually it's just kind of like whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. I post new videos here twice weekly at least, and you can also check out content over on my Patreon. If you want to see stuff that is not shown here on the regular channel, check it out over there. There's a lot about my writing. I talk a lot more candidly with my patrons. Keep an eye on my channel if you are looking to beta read for me and my next book. I'll be looking for beta readers eventually. It's only a matter of time. All the links to my social media are down in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking, and I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye!
Why don't I tell you all a tale of some amazing patrons, like Belle, Patrick, Anne Sophie, Callison, Ray, Artemis, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, and Sarah. What did those amazing people do? Why, they came on over and supported me on my Patreon to help me fulfill my writing dreams.
Who cares if you disagree? You are not me. Who made you king of anything? So you dare tell me who to be? Who died and made you king of anything?